Hi guys, welcome to another video. I am super excited to have Drew Ginn and Andrew Pike in the La Velocita office today to talk to them about a recent ride they've done from Sydney to Melbourne for Tour de Cure. A very last minute trip organised by Drew. Put the call out the next day. Andy Pike put his hand up and said, yep, I'll do it with you. The next morning they're on a plane up to Sydney and riding on the road all the way back. They came back 1,000 or 1,050 k's, 12,000 metres of climbing, which is just massive. 39 hours is the plan. Ended up taking them a little bit longer than that. Out on the road for 2 whole nights, 3 hours of sleep, and lots of mental battles and physical battles along the way. So without any more faffing around, let's get to the interview. So when did Drew ring you and say, do you want to do this with me?
I did get it was a bit random really the way it happened, but there was a message that said, in the next month or so, how about we do the ride from Sydney to Melbourne. And my window was very short because I'm heading off this week, so I really only had 3 or 4 days. And I was in Sydney at the time, so I'm trying to logistically work it out. So I just left my bike there, and it's like, do I just stay here or do I go home? But lights and everything. So I went home for a day and got organised. Before I knew it, we were on a plane at 6 a.m. and we were up there. But it was a bit random. But I wouldn't have liked to have thought about it any longer.
Yeah.
That was 24 hours.
Yeah.
Probably.
It had enough randomness to it. Because I flicked the message to Glenn and then Glenn Landers as well. All within sort of a couple of days.
Yeah.
Is anyone interested in doing this? Because plenty of conversations about doing some of these rides.
Yeah.
And I was the only fool to take bait. It looks like. Right?
Well, bike just happens to be in Sydney.
Yeah.
Right.
Glenn dropped me an email going, they're doing this ride, and I thought, it's probably in a few weeks or a couple of months. And
They're doing it now.
I sat on it overnight, and then I realised, I went onto your page, and I was like, it's tomorrow.
I had people cursing me right there going, could you give us more time?
Yeah.
Life's too short, right?
Life's too short.
Life's too short.
Yeah. So what time of flight did you catch from Melbourne?
Cooked 6 a.m.
6 a.m. And then when did you start riding?
9:30?
Yeah.
9:30. The plan was to ride 9, but by the time we got my bike set up, and your bike was already there.
So 6 a.m. flight, so you're up at about 4.
Just after 4.
And when were you in bed the night before?
I reckon 12:30. Didn't help my calls.
Yeah, that's good. So you were feeling rested at the start?
Well rested, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, that's when I had a moment of panic. I was sitting there looking at the alarm, I was going to bed, and I'm going, I think I've overshot this. Short.
So what actually was the total distance?
1,050, 60, 40, thereabouts.
Yeah.
Problem I have is my Garmin crap itself in the first night. So wherever that stopped Friday Eden, Eden I think is supposed to be 500 plus, and from Eden it's like 570 when you map it. So
the route was basically, was it along the coast the whole way down?
yeah, and so the previous thoughts were you go on the coast, it's going to be picturesque. Not that you get to see too much, but it is a beautiful stretch of road. But you ended up sticking with the A1, didn't you? So it's Princess Highway.
Yeah.
Because it just became like, okay, this is going to be quicker if we just start on this rather than going off here and then trying to run parallel to it and then getting sort of stuck to a little section of road where you go.
In terms of that planning, so initially you said 35 hours.
Yeah. I think you can do it in 35 hours that distance. I just don't know that you can do 35 hours that course. So.
And did you plan on short stops? So when we did the off-key, it was pretty much 5 minutes, and we would come on, off you go, off you go. Well, what was the protocol for the stops?
I distinctly remember when we rolled out of Sydney, just like, right, okay, so every 200k, we're going to have a 15-minute max stop. And I thought, 200k between each stop. It sort of seemed feasible at the time. in reality,
That's quite a long way.
once we hit the climbing,
Yeah.
we got to slow right up.
Yeah.
We stopped more often.
No, but I wouldn't like.
It would be beautiful to do those side
Yeah, we'll go back and do it again.
detours. But
Do it the other way.
Yeah. We'll find some people who want to come with us and do it the other way. Yeah, I like you. Do it there and back.
Yeah.
Which one? Well, there were a couple of stages where you
he actually mentioned that. Getting toward the end, he did say,
Oh,
"Do you think we should turn around and go back the other way?"
were you pretty happy with that suggestion?
I was happy to go on.
Probably fairly delirious at that point.
Yeah.
So you spent 48 hours together. How much chatting was going on? What were you talking about? Can you remember any of it?
Not really.
Besides slow down, Drew.
There were long, silent stretches.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah, there's a bit of banter going on, but I think he was just trying to. I was going from one niggle to the other. So it was the hand, and the little finger, and it was the elbow, and then it was into the neck, and and then it was the feet would go numb, and so I was trying to manage. I was trying to manage that, and then just try and stay in a straight line.
Yeah.
So to converse, it was just a whole other level again at the same time.
Yeah. A couple of times you'd sort of go, "Hey, you going there, Buggy? You going right? What's happening?"
Nothing. Yeah.
No, and I'd worked out from the obby rides we've done, obviously, that, mind you, when we left Rafa House, I remember saying, "I'll just grab one of those and their cookies." So we had nothing on us.
It's when you said
Not
about
flavoured.
empty pockets from yourself.
Yeah, 2 water bottles, that was it.
And no support car at that point.
No. So cookie in the back pocket.
Which came in handy.
And she's like, and then we put it in too.
How far were you rationing the cookies?
I started out, I was thinking I'll just snack on these little bits and pieces, little morsel, like a little mouse. And then after a while, I was like, sure. There you go.
And you'd slept through breakfast on the plane as well.
Yeah.
Remember we had the mini omelets?
Yeah. It's like, oh, here's another hill. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Hey, look, we found it again. We've got another hill. What do you think of that? Shut up, weird.
Did you ask each other if you're okay?
Yeah, a couple times.
Couple?
Yeah. I was
Didn't dwell on it.
No, you can't keep saying, how do you feel? How do you start?
Yeah.
Because you know the answer is.
Yeah. I want to start.
Yeah. I think the thing that you got to do is anything that you can get you out of your head is a good thing. So little things like the distance on the sign, or check that out, or check out the moon, or just stuff that would get you out of your own physical space to stop you thinking about anything you're going through.
Yeah.
It's helpful, I suppose.
And it was a full moon
It was awesome, wasn't
as
it?
well. It was awesome.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you get wet and then you get cold, and so tell us about the kit that you took with you. You thought you were going to be out there for 35 hours, so pack light, travel far. And that's Mikey's favourite saying.
That's been tested.
Yeah, it has been tested. Tell us about what you took with you.
Well, I was pretty standard, really. I was, knee warmers, bibs, base layer, jersey, arm warmers, just lots of layers so that I could peel off. Quite a bit. Headwear, neck warmers on as well. But didn't carry any extra. I found it was about right. Put a jacket on through the night.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep the moisture away.
Yeah.
Keep the wetness away.
And I hate the cold riding. I can't stand it. It's just the one thing that I mean, you do it because you get used to it. But so I sort of put an extra sort of thermal, sort of fleecy vest in. So I had a bag off the back of the bike. Had the rain jacket in there as well, thinking, at some stage, I know it's going to get cold. And, even having that on, sweating slightly inside is better than cold. Threw the booties in as well. Neoprene gloves. Merino wool comes in very, very handy. But they ended up throwing an extra jacket. So when the car joined us later on, so Ian had sort of 2 kilo jackets sort of thing. So even they got thrown on. I tried the neck warmer, I tried the beanie with the ear warmers. I had everything on at one stage, and you were joking and going, you'll fall asleep.
Yeah.
I was falling asleep, all right. But the thing was, at your core, you at least sort of felt like you had a semblance of warmth.
And how long do you think it was supposed to
Yeah.
So what about nutrition? guess people want to know. So what do you, how do you feel yourself for 48 hours non-stop?
You heard about the plan, right?
We assume it was more than one cookie.
It wasn't more than one cookie.
Yeah, it became a lot more than one cookie very quickly. Yeah, it was amazing. So servo stop, there's not a lot down there as far as services. So servo's become your new best friend, right? So pies were the staple, chocky milks were the staple, a little bit of sweet stuff, but mainly savoury. I was eating a lot of savoury.
Yeah.
Some chicken wraps, I remember.
Yeah, you went those.
I went the chicken wraps.
I tried chicken pie at some stage.
Potato cakes.
Potato cakes. But this one,
You're doing what?
you're doing what? You're riding from Sydney to Melbourne.
I don't know if they felt sorry for us. We looked super dehydrated, but
They gave us water.
they gave us a bottle of water as we rolled out and said good luck.
Oh,
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So why?
Well, a couple of reasons. One, the personal thing is always looking for a challenge. And then the more meaningful thing is finding a way to raise funds for Tour de Cure. So obviously for cancer research and cancer initiatives that are local community based. And the important thing for me is I've got obviously some family and friends right now. I lost my mum when I was young, but some family and friends right now that are going through really tough times. And it feels like cancer is exponentially increasing in people's life. So you sit around on the couch, right, you're doing your work and all that sort of stuff, and you're in your own little bubble, and you're seeing these things happen, and you sort of go, why not get off your ass and do something that's going to make them feel somewhat inspired, even though they're going through their struggles, but also just know that you're putting back into the community. Mm-hmm. And I've seen through Tour de Cure when we've done the rides up and down the coast, and that was really interesting. We got people handing us cash on the road and all that sort of stuff, partly because the car's behind us, so they recognise that. But even in that sort of sense, like it wasn't something we discussed a lot beforehand, but I just rang Jeff Coombs, one of the founders, once we decided to do it, said, so I'm doing, can you get a profile page and just see what we can do over the next 2 or 3 days. And so for me it was a bit of an experiment on saying, if you've got 2 or 3 days, how much money can you raise? Yeah. And if you're doing an extreme challenge like that, how much awareness can you raise? And pretty proud that you can sort of kick it into gear in a short space of time.
Yeah. And people can still head to that page.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. We'll keep that alive because we'll give some more challenges at some stage down the track, huh?
Yeah.
What shoot challenge? Yeah. So what's next?
What is next?
What is next, Mikey?
We've got to go around the world.
Around the world?
Yeah.
Around Australia.
Oh, there's plenty of bucket lists. There's plenty of things to tick off. I would like to do the tip New Zealand at the bottom.
Yeah, you said
that.
that.
Pretty interesting. That's a big favourite of mine.
Top to bottom of South America, I think would be a good one.
Oh, now you're talking.
Yeah. Lots of climbing.
My forte. And so the more you sort of look into the endurance cycle, the more you realise there's people from all walks of life that are coming to this activity. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to do 24 hours again, I'd like to do the New Zealand thing again, I'd like to do the Australian thing again. And I like the idea of us being able to find people that are up for doing any of these things. So
what part of?
Yeah. Sections of, and for me, I think the reality, what's come out of this one is, as soon as you've got elevation, the ride becomes a different beast altogether. And I haven't done that sort of stuff before where you try to do it that way. But now you sort of start to go, okay, so some of these things like Race Across America and all that sort of stuff become plausible. Not because you've got the resources, but because you sort of go, okay, so 2 lots of 500, okay, that's what it is. Can you get through 6 days of that? Can you get through 10 days of that?
Yeah, the thing that's hit me most about this endurance riding is the number of people who are just everyday riders like in the Indie Pack. A lot of the people, there was a lot of the focus of that front end of the field, but so many of the people are just average riders, day jobs, that just got on their bike and sort of going, only doing 300 k's a day, but it's still amazing that they're just getting out and doing that.
And I think that's the thing. So I think when you use something like, say, Pikey's situation with Rafa, where they're trying to encourage people to join those communities and be part of it, get out and bike and use it that way, and then that leads to people wanting challenges. And then you, as you say, you've got the front end of things where people are trying to do quite extreme things on speed, and that is dangerous. There's no doubt about it. As soon as you're pushing the boundaries, you're putting yourself in harm's way. But then you've sort of got that sort of cluster of people in the middle who, if you're doing it, you don't even know about it. Yeah. And it's like the Audax sort of stuff that we came across. The amount of people that are actually out there doing rides on weekends, 400k, 500k, 600k.
Yeah.
And you don't even know about it.
Yeah.
And so that for me, the inspirational thing is realising that we're not alone. And then the physical frontier that we're all trying to explore is our human capacity. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So this is the interesting part that I personally found even on this ride was I struggled in the first night, and it would have been really easy to sort of stop, really easy to turn around and look to people in the eye and go, hey, look, why don't we just book in on this and drive to the next location and go here? And Pike actually made the comment, after having a 15-minute power nap in the car, trying to warm up, which is, we can just get down the road. It was a little bit of a test, I'm sure, like to sort of say, we could just throw the bike on the roof and get it under it. And I was like, no, you got it. And I think you find out things about yourself in that situation. So I think the average person works out that are they genuine, are they authentic, and all that sort of stuff. But you don't find out unless you're actually doing something a little more extreme. Didn't know, this guy's appeared out of nowhere on his bike.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. We were at the top of this hill, and we thought we were going, took him along the right. Next thing you know, this guy just appears like that. So, what's the protocol here?
But he knew you were doing the ride, and he just dropped.
Also, one of the guys in the car, Lincoln Kelly from Bensdale, had put the word out, and this guy took the bait. What is it, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night?
Yes.
Bloody cold. And so he goes, what's the protocol? Pike goes, I guess you can sit on the front, give us a bit of a tow for a while. So, the next thing you know, he's going 60k an hour.
We're at 100k an hour.
You're going downhill. There's a couple of sections of the road where all of a sudden it's getting pretty chattery, and I'm there behind, Pikey's behind me, and you're watching the shadows from the car, and I'm thinking, I can't see anything on this bottom of the road, just the shadows of our cars. And this guy, you just see, I'm going, mate, if we hit anything here, we're going down over the top of each other. A couple of times, whack, and you go, geez, okay, just relax.
How much of it do you think is mental and physical? So, I've been on those long rides, and when you're like, I am so spent, I can hardly turn over one more revolution here. And then 10 minutes later, you're sort of hammering along at like 45 k's an hour, feeling as fresh as a daisy. I can never quite, am I talking myself out of this, or?
I don't know, that's the weird one. I found that even on the Brunswick Velodrome was people would watch and make the comment going, I don't know why you're riding fast and riding slow and riding fast. You just have no control over it.
Yeah. You
feel good for a while and you just sort of follow it. You're not trying to kill yourself, you just follow it, and then you're feeling crap and you just follow that.
Yeah.
I've asked a few people, a couple of mates who have done quite extreme things with the SAS, and they reckon it's coupled between the psychological and physiological. You have chemicals that are produced when you start to feel good. I'm starting to feel good again because I've actually felt really crap, and I'm starting to feel good, and all these chemicals get shot off. Next thing your body blossoms almost, and you're away. Like the longer you're at it.
And especially during the day, like that dark window between 2 a.m. or probably midnight even to 5 a.m.
Yeah.
That 5 hours is, you've really got to be on top of your game.
Yeah.
Not just stay awake, but just keep the motivation. But then when that sun gets you on your back at 7 a.m. Wow, I felt 10 foot tall and bulletproof. Just roll, everything, the body starts to loosen up, and feel great.
Yeah. So in Sorrel, when we felt shit, this could be bad. We're 270 k's out of Melbourne, and still dark and cold, and there's not going to be any food, and you're hanging out. And what I noticed in that was we'd ridden so long without food.
Yeah.
And so your system's been now really suppressed for a long time. I think the key one is as long as you can get enough nutrition in, then you keep popping the system up. And as long as it's not the sugary short-term stuff, then it's pretty good. But we had Maccas there that we recorded a video. I recorded some footage of you, recorded some footage of me, and someone joked and shared it back to me online. They're going, just check this out, mate. It's seriously like you guys have been drinking all night, But at the time when you're talking to each other, you sort of feel like it's coherent. And then afterwards you look back at this thing and go, holy heck, what are we on there? And I think the fuel supply is really key. I think you can ride for a fair while just aerobically, you can get away with it. But as soon as you want to push it a bit or whatever it is, you just need full fuel source.
Has it got to be easier for you, having done quite a few of these things? Starts to get easier.
It's just hard.
It's always hard.
The different, I don't know, your training or your preparation, you weren't preparing for anything. I wasn't specifically preparing for anything, but I noticed I was doing a lot of indoor stuff just for an hour a day.
Yeah.
And I was doing it reasonably solidly. And so I wasn't out doing long Ks like we've done for some of the things like the Opula 24 hour. So that's what I was nervous about, was what was that going to be like. So I reckon in that regard, I don't know, it's just different. Like it wasn't harder, it wasn't easier. It's just the nighttime sort of stuff is just miserable.
Yeah.
But you feel so good tonnage.
So how many Ks a week leading into this?
Oh, realistically, well, it's all indoor training stuff basically. So probably 6 hours on the indoor trainer.
Yeah.
300, 350 days.
I just do my normal 1,000.
Well, you just been in New Zealand. You just been out trotting around, globetrotting around the world. You know?
The distance, I'll say it again, the distance was not a problem. The distance really wasn't concerning me. 1,000 Ks, it's fine. But the elevation, when Drew initially sent through the profile, I could see
Which profile? The 8,000 metres or
Well,
the 12,000?
Well, yeah, I saw a couple of profiles, and I saw the 8. I was praying for the 8,000.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, it was 12,000. So with 7,000 vertical in the first 500 kilometres, and I think that put this thing in the legs.
Yeah.
Hungry?
I've been eating like a horse. I'm not sure how horses eat, but.
Is that generally or just since the ride?
You reckon I was eating like a horse on the ride?
At least, well, I think double every time we pull in. So it's only before we're trying to work it out. So the standard stock was pies, chocolate milks, and cakes to have and to go. And I would probably have a pie, a cake, and a chocolate milk with a thick shake. And Drew would, without doubt, have double. And then I was palming some of mine off at the end too. So it was, it was copious amounts of food.
Well, I didn't know when we were going to stop next.
To fuel the horse.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And how's your body feeling, Pikey?
I'm feeling pretty good. I was surprised. Physically really good. Just general tiredness. So I think we got in home from St Kilda at about 2 p.m. on that whatever afternoon it was. I went straight to bed and I slept through to about 7 the next day. So I got a good 14, 15 hours in.
Yeah.
Straight through. Then the next night I would have at least had 12 hours. Yeah.
But out of Trafalgar was amazing. Like that last sort of 4 or 5 hours into Melbourne, Black Rock, and you're rolling up the road. You go, actually, it feels good to be back on Beach Road. Oh, it's smooth.
Flat.
Never thought I'd say I'd love to be back on Beach Road. But like, all of a sudden you're sitting there going, actually, don't feel too bad. That night, I think we went to bed about 10:30 or whatever it was. The same sort of thing I've been finding. I've just craved a little bit more sleep over the last few days. I think if it was trying to really go at it fast, I think there'd be a whole other kind of fatigue in the system. But I think the fact that we resign ourselves to the fact that we're just dealing with whatever's coming up, you're not really pushing your body into that red zone too much. So I think that's when you're going along like this. I think it's probably smart, unless you've got the real intent of going.
Measuring your effort is really important.
Yeah. Well, it's a gradual grind. That's the thing.
I thought a lot about could I do this for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? So because the Indy and Pacific World race had just been a few weeks before, I was thinking about that a lot. Thinking about a lot of the riders on that. And, could I keep this up?
Yeah. And what's your conclusion?
When you're in the moment, it's hard. It's hard to do it. I'm like, nah, there's no way. But I think, and Jesse Carlson always says that, that's day 3, day 4 is the time, and you sort of, it's breaking through and it's a bit more routine and the body's used to it, becomes used to it. Kind of get that. So it'd be interesting to go 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if I want to test that theory, but...
No, but I reckon there's definitely breakthrough points out there. I've found generally riding a bit longer, that 150k to 250k mark, once you're through that longer ride becomes possible. But there's a weird sort of period of time where all of a sudden you're just starting to run out of a bit of energy, you're working out how to fuel yourself and all that sort of stuff, everything's uncomfortable. It doesn't get any worse than that after 5, 6, 700. But it's getting through that window there. And the same thing, and I've not done anything more than 2 days riding now as well. So, but it's the same thing I would imagine is that, having 3 hours sleep over the 2 days, by the time I got home I was like, actually I reckon I could have ridden through the rest of this day and probably done again another hour's sleep or 2 hours sleep and then tried to get through that next night. And as long as you're getting the fuel, I think the biggest one is if you're at home and it's 2 days, then it stops there. But if you've got this journey where you've sort of got no choice, I don't know, just human nature is just keep pressing on.
So what did you carry? Did you have packs on your bike? Did you actually carry anything?
We started out with the packs.
You started out with it, yeah.
Yeah. And then we weren't anticipating to have a sport car.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and probably stupidly, you know, the light choices and lots of stuff. I think we still would have got through the ride, but it would have been a bit of a different sort of beast. But I think once Ian joined us, I mean, your thing was, you know, we'll just ditch the packs, don't need those on.
Yeah.
But for me, having what we had, I mean, I think we could have kept pressing on. I just think we would have had to have a couple of different stops.
Stop the challenge.
And the challenge would have been, you know, you wouldn't have been able to stop anywhere and be warm. That would have been the real kicker, because I probably hadn't mentally prepared or physically prepared in any way for that. I think that's what Jesse talks about. Is, you know, what you're taking with you, you have to sort of know that you can sit at the bus stop and roll stuff around you and get your hours sleep that way.
We would have just had to keep riding.
Yeah.
Stay warm.
Yeah.
We didn't have bivvy or anything like that. So
could have been these ones.
Yeah.
You're right, Mike. Yeah.
Hug time.
Yeah. No, I think that is the biggest thing. I think, if it's a ride out to the Dandenongs or if it's a ride down the coast or whatever it is, like I think the amount of times people think about doing a ride that's different, but then they stick to the routine, they stick to what they do, and they wait for the event to do it versus saying, well, actually get a bunch of people together and pick something they want to do. Yeah. And I think for me, it's the story that's really cool. Is that you end up having a story with the people you do it with. I've got no doubt that. The conversation between Pike and I, you know, is going to be different because of the experience, you know. And then add a guy like Ian and add a guy like Link who were driving the car part of Tour de Cure. I've got no doubt the next time I see them in 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is, the conversation and the interaction, all that sort of stuff, you've answered them because of what you've been through, you know. So
So where do people find out more about your fundraising page?
So they can go to Tour de Cure. I think it's tourdecure.com.au through the Australian site for the cancer organisation. There is a profile page, so once you go in there, all you do is do a search for the individual name. Ultimately, if you donate to the site anyway, it's fantastic. It was interesting. I had a few friends who, say like a James Tompkins, who I rode together years ago. So obviously a very close friend of theirs. Is really going through some tough times, and so he sort of sent me a message and said, I haven't donated to your thing, but I've donated to another cancer thing. So
thanks very much for joining me to watch that one. That was just really great meeting those two. Always feel inspired to go for a massive ride and try something a bit beyond the limit of what I think I can do when I've chatted to those two. Really inspirational stuff. If you want to find out more about the ride, just head over to www.tourdecure.com.au. There's full details there, and you can make donations if you like. We'll have the full route and a write-up the story at lavellecita.cc, so head over there and have a better look as well. As always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, all those things, and we will see you next time. Thanks.